And now on Who's Views, it's time to join JT, Paul, and Third Doctor Ian for the latest headlines.
Here we go then, Who Viewers. Welcome back to Who's Views. This is your Saturday headlines. How are you? It is indeed Saturday, the 10th of January, 2026. If you're just tuning in, you haven't been with us for the last couple of shows. Why? But Happy New Year. Welcome back to Who's Views. And for those of you who were with us those couple of shows this week, hello. Nice to see you all. Yes, we're here with headlines. Lots to talk about, believe it or not, in this first week of January. So we're giving you two shows this weekend, tonight, and then we're back tomorrow at 8 o'clock here on the channel for part 2. Yes, aren't we treating you all? Absolutely we are. Because have you heard? Yes, the war between the land and the sea, the ratings are in. We're going to be taking our analytical approach and gossipy approach into those ratings in just a few short minutes. Also, we've had RTD and Whoopi Goldberg spouting off a load of nonsense. We're going to be looking at that during this show. And Jeremy Clarkson, God love him, because yes, Jeremy Clarkson's been kicking off about the BBC, as his right. We're going to be looking into that because he mentioned a certain showrunner friend of ours. Yes, I wonder if you can tell who that is. Just a little mention, but it was there anyway. Let's bring them on, shall we? Yes, because they are here as ever. Third Doctor Ian and Paul, hello to you two. And Happy New Year.
Hello.
Happy New Year as well, yes, yeah.
Happy New Year as well.
One thing, just to confuse me, it's kind of start of the new year, kind of, really. I've only just worked out the binge work, and you've got a Saturday show headlines tonight rather than Sunday, and that's really confusing. Yeah.
It keeps you on, it keeps you going.
Keeps you on my toes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's setting you up, it's setting you up. Let's have a quick look and see who's in the chat. Hello to everybody. John Mason is saying to us, yay, a Sunday show as well. Of course you're going to get your Sunday headlines. What else would you do on a Sunday night? Absolutely. Headlines back to Sunday from tomorrow. Ye Robert Payne, ye oldie Robert Payne is saying to us, the war between the ears of Kate. She was terrible. Did you see our reviews? Oh my God. Mark Greaves is saying hello to us. John, the computer doctor, is saying hello from a rather cold York.
Oh. It's a rather cold everywhere, I think, to be fair.
It is a tad chilly, this neck of the woods, definitely. Yeah. I can confirm what John, the computer doctor, is saying.
Have you two got snow where you are?
We had a little dusting, but not like everywhere else, to be fair. The central belt's been kind of missed, really. But
oh, really? Yeah.
We had about 3 or 4 mil in the night. We're a bit further north than York now, but it was the most that we've had completely. The roads were interesting because they're not gritted, but it was, yeah.
Bloody councils in this country. They know winter is coming and they never prepare for it, do they? It's always like, oh my God, it's such a surprise. Ah! Oh, get a bloody grip. Frankie Stannage is with us. Good evening, JT and chat gods. Legion of James is saying the 10th of January already. What a start to the year. Yes, indeed. Hope the dogs are all right, mate. Hope your lovely dogs are okay. Stuart's with us as well. Hello, Stuart Barham. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well, Stuart. It's lovely to see you. And Bill Lowry's with us saying hi all. Hello, Bill. How are you doing?
Hey, Bill.
Our very own lady of the chat is in there as well, making sure everybody's all right, along with Legion of James. So hello to you, Kirsty. How are you? She's not a witch. I don't know why she calls herself a witch. She's not that bad.
She's got previous on witchery, to be fair, witchcraft and things.
Yeah. She has special powers.
Yes, she has. Yeah.
We've also got Stephen O'Neill saying it's chilly in Wigan. Yeah, pies, lovely pies. Woodhouse 122, and nice to see you. And Hugh Janus is here as well. It wouldn't be the same without Hugh Janus in there.
It wouldn't, would it?
Not at all.
There's always room for Hugh Janus, isn't there?
Yeah. It certainly wasn't the clubs I used to go to back in the day. Our John's with us, and you're spoiling us 2 shows this weekend. Yes, we are spoiling you. Yes, definitely. But you are worth it. You're absolutely all worth it, and we're delighted to see you all. Thank you for being with us. Although saying, Jason G is saying, evening, gents, JT and the Tangent Brothers, happy days.
Yay.
You know what? They can go off on anything in these
Yeah.
shows over the weekend, everybody. And I'll be like this. I'll have to bring them back in, but you've got to let them. You've got to let them do it, haven't you? You've got to let them do it. What else have we got? Doc Martin's with us as well. I've only just realised, Doc Martin, that you were a television show. Because I saw it advertised for repeat things over New Year, and I thought, we get a Doc Martin coming into the chat. So, Doc Martin, Happy New Year, folks. Better late than never, I suppose. I suppose right now, you can still say it, can't you? Still say it. Yeah, I think so. We've got
probably from next week pushing it. Next week's probably pushing it.
Yeah,
but
I think
this
so.
week's
It's when you don't see people for a while, then you see them. If it's February, you don't say Happy New Year. Although I used to say a friend of mine, I hadn't seen him for years. I've been Happy New Year for 5 years. I haven't seen him for 5 years. Incredible, really, but yeah.
That's brilliant, isn't it? That's really good. That's really good. Ahoy, shipmates, is crimpling to bloom, and ahoy to you as well, my friend. The Jason Parker is with us as well, and he's saying, "Ooh, goody! Saturday just upgraded. Hi, guys. Hello to you. How are you? How are you?" And our job, very, very good of you, is saying to us, everyone remember to like the show. Yeah, don't forget to please like it. And if you're new to us, please subscribe. Please subscribe to us. If you're not new to us, make sure you still subscribe, because I'm still getting emails from Who Viewers guys saying, "Oh, I had to subscribe twice in the week or something like that." I don't know what these algorithms are bizarre, aren't they? Hello, Derek. Derek Hartford as well. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. As I say, this is your big show. We've got a lot to get through this evening, and a lot to catch up on as well, because sadly, we're going to start this year's headlines with, well, the sad news that reached us last week of 2 people associated or being with Doctor Who, well, passing on. Of course, the first one, of course, was Gregory DePaulney that we heard about last weekend. He's passed on now. He was 82. Now, Gregory DePaulney, I'm sure you all know, played the wonderful and beloved D84 in The Robots of Death. What a character. I think an entire generation fell in love with D84, don't you guys?
Yeah, the companion we never got. That'd be lovely. Yeah. Can
you imagine if D84 had climbed on board the TARDIS instead of
or Chameleon? Yeah, instead of Chameleon.
Yeah, or any time over Chameleon. Yeah, D84 was lovely. Came out with such fantastic deadpan line. Please do not throw hands at me. Fantastic, love it.
The way that he played it, though, that Gregory played it, was just brilliant, wasn't it? Absolutely fantastic. And I don't know about you. I never got to meet him. I never met him on the convention circuit because I was never at the same conventions he seemed to be at, especially in the 90s. But a friend of mine had met him a couple of times at conventions, and he said to me that he loved going to them, and he was so happy to talk about D84 all the time. Isn't that lovely?
It is. Yeah.
He was a regular in Z Cars as well, wasn't he? At one point,
he was. Yeah.
What, D84?
Yeah, he was. He worked at reception in the police station. Yeah. Automated reception. That's what it was.
Yeah. Please don't throw hands at me. That was well enough.
Yeah, Liverpudlian accent at that point, I think. Yeah.
We've got lots of you paying tribute to Gregory in the chat, which is fantastic. With Robert also saying to us, "I never knew who played D84, but he was really good at it. I'm sorry he's died." Yeah, we're losing. Oh, gosh, there was a time when I thought headlines was just going to be one big obituary, to be quite honest, guys, because we seem to be losing quite a lot. So let's hope we're not starting our 2026 in this vein. I heard a cry. That was me, said Crimply into Bloom.
Lovely.
Wonderful. Yeah. And Mark Reeves, thank you for your super chat. Hi, everyone. Hope you're well. We've had to have our Gritter renamed. It apparently isn't PC to have a council vehicle called Gary Gritter.
I just not quite on the same thing, but I just have to share to show you a certain degree of insanity. That I come from York, don't live in York anymore, but do come from York, and a good friend of mine still in York, as are quite a few, sent me a message. York Labour, so the York Labour Party, who have I think 3 of the York MPs, have today announced plans to phase out the words black ice. It comes after various complaints by minority groups. I don't think there probably were any minority groups, to be quite honest. I think it's a virtual signalling whitey that's probably just said, let's ban this and we'll look virtuous. So, yeah, they're going to be in York. They're going to be banning the term black ice.
That's ridiculous because it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
these people are just winding me up. They're doing it deliberately now to wind me up.
It's still allowed to be a colour, isn't it? To be honest, I mean,
No, that's going to go.
Isn't a bottle of cider called White Lightning or something? They're going to change the name of that at some point.
Trust you to know that.
Yeah. It's my teen years, obviously. So.
I know. I was going to say White Lightning was one of those ciders you go down to. Apparently, I wouldn't know, of course.
Yeah.
But you would go down to the local park or something when you were 16, 17 and down it. Apparently, I wouldn't know. The John Keeley.
We'd make snake bite, JT.
That's the voice of experience talking there, I can tell.
I don't know. I don't know if we're allowed to mention snake bite because wasn't it banned?
Other ciders are available. Just say that now, okay? In case someone's unless we're for sponsorship, of course. Yeah.
We'll get that. Thank you to the John Keeley for your super chat. Good evening, gentlemen. I hope you are all well. I'm really looking forward to the release of season 15 standard edition of the Doctor Who collection. Well, that's right, John, because that's coming out on Monday, the 12th of January. So that's this Monday for the standard edition. I was sneakily hoping that the postman would pop it through my slot today, but he didn't. So,
is your postman called Pop It in Peter? Just checking.
Pop It in Peter.
Yes. Yeah.
It is. But thank you for that, John. Listen, let me know what you think of it, because I'm really looking forward to getting my grubby little protuberances on it and opening it and watching it all. Season 15. What a fun season that is.
It's a great set. You'll love it.
We've also just got to say hello to Dave Heitman, who's joined us. Hello, Dave. We're fine, thank you. Thank you for asking. We're fine. John, the computer doctor, brings us back to this sad element here. We were just talking about Gregory Dupont, who passed away last weekend at the age of 82, played D84. And John, the computer doctor, saying we're losing too many people now. Certainly from our version of Doctor Who, proper Doctor Who, it's heartbreaking. But you know what? It happens, doesn't it?
Sadly, it's life, yeah. Sadly.
Yeah, I mean, we're all born to, aren't we, when you think about it? But there you go. It wasn't the only one, unfortunately, last weekend that we lost. Now, although not associated in the show for Doctor Who, she was very much associated with Doctor Who because she actually married one of them. We are, of course, talking about Ingeborg Pertwee. This was a picture that came from the social media, I think from Sean. I think I got it from Sean last weekend, but it made its way round. And what a beautiful picture of just joy, love, and happiness of the two of them from back in the day there. Absolutely gorgeous. She passed on last weekend at the grand age of 91. God love her.
Fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never met her either, guys. I don't remember Ingeborg ever being at a convention, so I never met her either. Did you? And you two?
No.
I do know that she was an absolute rock for Pertwee, though. And I remember reading years ago, it was before John Pertwee passed, there was a newspaper interview with her. And she recounted saying how John was, he was very much a stylish man, wasn't he? And he was very, he was just a presence, wasn't he? And she said they were on holiday on a beach. And all these young girls just like, oh, there's John Pertwee, and he's like lapping it up, there on the beach with his medallion and everything else. And she would just lean across to him and say, don't forget your heart pills, darling. And then all the girls would disappear thinking he was about to die. And it would really rattle him. I thought that was quite amusing. It's always stuck with me. But it seems like they had a great relationship. And together again. Let's look at it that way. Together again.
Exactly.
There's a lovely series of adverts, I think, that Pertwee did. And she features in them. I think it's the Pertwee family. I've seen on YouTube. And it's got shots of young Sean and Daryl, his daughter, as well. And Ingeborg is cooking. It might be an OXO-related advert or something like that. Or biscuit or something
think
like
that rings a bell with me.
Yeah. And it's I'm sure
YouTube.
to find on YouTube. It's a lovely seeing her involved a little bit, and there's some great stuff on the season 7 and on the Spearhead Blu-ray with the documentary about Pertwee, and some lovely shots of them getting married and stuff like that. I think it were really, really nice.
Yeah.
So it's lovely. It's sad and lovely at the same time. But you're right, Ian. She's gone to join John in heaven, which would be lovely.
Yeah.
So.
That's Lex confirming that she was on an OXO advert with John.
Yeah, and it was some OXO biscuit or something like that. Yeah.
I thought, Lex. Gillian's with us as well, saying good evening to us. Hello to you. We've got a lot of people in the chat paying their respects to both Gregory and Ingeborg. So we want to just join that as well, because goodness me, all the best and much love to their families.
Yeah.
To both of them. Wow. Yeah. Thanks for that, everybody. You're watching Who's Views. It's the 10th of January, 2026, everybody. Yes, this is Saturday. We are going to be back tomorrow on Sunday. I'm going to be reminding you of that throughout the show, but we really are. Tell you what else I'm going to be reminding you of. I'm going to be reminding you how to get in touch with us. You should know it by now, I'm sure you do, but our email address is whosviews1@gmail.com. And guess what? That's the very email address that you can get in touch with me with if you want to take part in the 2026 series of Chit Chat, which launched last night here on the channel at 8 p.m. Yes, every Friday for the next few weeks, you're going to be getting the Chit Chat with one of you out there. Yes, one of our lovely Who viewers.
That was very scary, that was.
It was, wasn't it?
It was like 3D.
If you had those glasses on, you'd really be ducking down, wouldn't you?
Out the screen.
So it'd be like Eccleston's chin coming at you. But yeah, allegedly. So yes, if you want to take part with Chit Chat, just email me at whosviews1@gmail.com. It's nothing to worry about. Don't be shy. It's thee and me with a cup of tea for an hour, just having a chat. Just to let you know as well, because I had some messages saying they didn't see this coming, guys. The shows, I don't do all that premiere nonsense and all that crap on this. You know, I just drop it at 8 o'clock every Friday, because then you can watch it when you want. Because if you put something on this channel, guys, as a premiere, it means if somebody comes into it 10 minutes after it's dropped, you haven't got the whole show. Yeah. You've got to. Well, so I just thought, no, we won't do that. I'll just drop them at 8 o'clock every Friday, and then people can start it when they find it, and then they're seeing the whole show, because they're great. Some of these chit chats. Last night we started with Jason. So yes, more to come, by the way, more to come. whosviews1@gmail.com. Do get in touch and come and have a chit chat with the old JT here. Look at this. Hugh Janus with a super chat. Is it ice of colour now, Ian? He wants to know.
It's worth a suggestion, isn't it? Might see if York Press, which is the local rag, is running the article on it still. It might be able to leave a comment. That'll be quite amusing. Nice one, Huge. Anus.
Do you know what, though? Thanks for that, dude. No, yeah, really good of you. Do you know what this is? This, like every other, I mean, that's the council, but we've got the police, we've got staff in the BBC, we've got this is the result of alleged unconscious bias training. Absolute bull. I've said it before, refuse to go on it. Just refuse. Just say no, because it's usually telling you, if you're especially white, you're in the wrong. It's absolutely ridiculous. Mark wants to know if Ian and Paul will be putting in for overtime. What, on Chit Chat? Doc Martin is saying, ooh, Chit Chat, that's right.
Overtime, sorry, wages?
I didn't know there was regular time, let alone overtime.
And I don't give them ideas. But Matt,
we want a word with union, Paul.
Yeah, we'll start a union here, and that's right. Yeah, the Who's Views Union. Yeah, here's the email address here. Yeah, I'm
not having unions around here. Oh no. What? Oh, I can't say that. What? WTF? What was that big pink thing? It was only my little finger there. Look, don't worry too much about it, Matt. I know you'll have nightmares tonight. Lex is reminding us that today, January the 10th, is when episode 2. Episodes of Spear Heaven Space, The Brain of Morbius and Warrior's Gate, How Time Flies. Telling me, it's always worrying. It's always worrying. What else we got here? Thank you very much for joining us all. And Sheila being the devotions, here she is. Hello to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, we've been busy last year, weren't we, guys? We were busy last year looking at certain things around AI. We've talked about
we were
various AI projects. We've got what's it called, Doctor Who in the Mid Journey. That was always going on, wasn't it? But Ian, you found somebody else that you've taken to now, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you just see it coming up on your feed now. Like, what the hell is that? And I think tools are getting better. Grok from Elon Musk's X is really making its mark now in AI generation as well, and it's doing really good jobs. You can tell it's doing a good job because Keir Starmer's trying to ban it. So if he's trying to ban something, clearly that means it's worthwhile. But
If you don't know what
yeah,
this is about, by the way, because you're outside the UK, our Prime Minister, our alleged Prime Minister, is trying to ban X in the United Kingdom. And that could happen as quickly as this week, because he doesn't want his voice to his dictate, basically.
Yeah, he's dressing it up as being supposedly to protect children from having images made about them, whilst at the same time turning an utter blind eye to children actually being sexually assaulted. So, you know, go figure, really. It'd take a firm stand about false images, but do absolutely nothing about actual harm. But the real reason he's doing it, of course, is because he can't control X. So people are able to share actual news and he can't control it. For example, X has been completely awash over the last couple of weeks with news about the uprising in Iran and all the very best to them, to be quite honest, and the overturning of the Islamic regime. The BBC, of course, nothing. Keir Starmer, nothing. Israel in Gaza, and he's on a podium screaming about it. But the Iranians having protesters being shot, then no, he's not interested in that, and neither's the BBC. The BBC's only just started mentioning it now, but
probably under duress in the BBC. We've got, I told you we go off on tangents, people, because we do, and this is a tangent. We'll come back to what Ian wanted to share with us in a minute. John Mason saying to us, it's to protect the public from Reform UK. He's an idiot. Him and his party and his government, idiots. We've got Robert Payne saying, I can't use Grok for fun Doctor Who things now because the PM thinks only mucky people use it. Other AI image sites are still available, though, so it's not about that. It certainly isn't. What's that noise?
I was just typing a message to Kirsty. I apologise.
Okay. It's got
Ian's keyboard. I know. Yeah.
It's got absolutely nothing to do with protecting children. The third Doctor is 100% correct, says the Legion of James. Derek Hart saying to us, just mentioned about Bowie a few minutes ago. I can't believe it's 10 years since he passed on.
Wow.
That was a difficult one to understand today as well. And Bill Lowry saying to us, listen, if you want to manipulate images, you can go back to something as simple as paint. Dot Martin also saying Starmer is very clear that he's very clear, although he's not sure what he's clear about.
Are you sure? You're sure? Yeah.
Pretty awful.
I mean, Starmer and his government have been manipulating stuff for ages, haven't they? They've been manipulating and changing stuff for ages. I don't know why they're getting upset about it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. They've been using AI a lot to write a lot of his bloody speeches, from what I can tell. Mark Greaves, thank you for your super chat. Obviously, we're a tangent union now. It never gets done.
We just talk about it, to be fair.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And your chats there, everybody. Yes. Keep your chats coming. Eastland's with us saying, I love the digressions and tangents. Your thumbnails are saying small print includes rather random digressions and tangents.
A very small print, yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, let's get back to this new AI you found.
Yes, sorry. So I was, it just came across my feed just at the end of last week, actually. And it was incredible. What I saw was just incredible. Some images and some short videos as well. Classic Cybermen in the sewers of London from the invasion. There was robots from the Robots of Death. There was just all sorts. Now I copied some of it to JT. I think you've got one or two images.
We've got a few of them here. Have a look at these.
Yeah, if you're on X, look for the account George the Fourth. You'll see it just there at the bottom of the image, George the Fourth. No numbers, just words. Capital G. I think that's important. Remember the capital G on George the Fourth. But honestly, I think the stuff that he's coming out with is amazing. I know AI does all the work, but it does rely on the prompts that you give it, but also some of the source images that I think that you can feed into it as well. And I think what George does, we had a little exchange, and I said to him that I was going to mention him. But what I think he does is he uses a separate application to feed some images in and tidy them up, especially if they're from earlier in the series.
These are so
and then he feeds them in. Yeah, feeds them in and does this. I mean, this is the stuff of nightmares, isn't it? And absolutely wonderful. You see, if you were doing Doctor Who now, that is what it should be looking like. Not some mincing drag queen in 60s Liverpool or wherever the hell it was.
Enough without AI.
And that's what it should be like. That's what it should be looking like. You know,
no.
that is what your mood board should be. And that, of course, is what we didn't get as well.
We've got this from Mark. Mark Iraq, good to see you. There have been some stunning Star Wars AI CGI creations in recent weeks. I have no doubt we'll see very accurate recreations of missing Doctor Who in the near future. We discussed that in one of our shows last year. We think, obviously, that's going to be the next thing. And that's where the BBC, they need to stop, in my opinion, Who viewers, they need to stop those crappy cartoon things and start actually investing in somebody like George and investing in AI stuff and doing it that way, because these are great. I mean, look, we've got a couple more that Ian found as well. I mean, I love that particular one of the mummies from pyramids. But look at this one.
That's lovely. Yeah.
Isn't that fantastic, viewers? Look at it. I think the smoke, the mist rather on these. It's incredible, isn't it? You know, and then to top it off, he's not just done. I mean, as Ian was saying, he's done a hell of a lot of stuff. But look at this one.
This one's lovely, yeah. From the
isn't it just incredible? Yeah, it's incredible.
It is, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
even you know, proper.
If you could do like say GT, if you could do this as an animation for Missing Story, this particular's got a real Captain Scarlet vibe to it, which is nice. But it's kind of, if they did something like this, it'd be really good, you know, because it's not too like flat, because the other stuff that I'm recently like Savages was bloody awful, etc. Toymaker, terrible stuff.
Well, this is the thing about this. I mean, this is why I've always said I don't profess to understand AI, and I find some of it very, very scary because of what you can do and how it can be manipulated for those on the bad side of life. But for good stuff like this, these look like photographs. You have to be really careful, don't you? You have to. I mean, if we didn't know better, we would say that was from one of Wendy's stories. You just take that extra little look and you go, oh, no, it's not. It's not. You know, that's not Wendy. That's an image of Wendy. Very clever stuff. But I think I do
really
think next. Oh, we've got some people up here. Look at this. Our John is saying, oh, no, Zoe is oiled up.
Steady.
Come on. It might be Saturday night, but come on. Hang on a sec.
We're still pre-watershed. Okay. So.
Connor Simpson, Connor, how are you? I use AI. Good for you. Let us know how that's going. Come and do a chit chat with me. Imagine those images in a program, says John Mason. Exactly. That's what they need to do. If you're going to tell Doctor Who fans to start shelling out anything from $19.99 upwards, from a DVD onwards, to £45 for a Blu-ray Steelbook, then give us some quality. Give us some quality and start investing in something that's not a stupid cartoon that's flat, like Paul was saying. We've got this from Woodhouse 122. I've seen a few clips of the Highlanders that TARDIS Time Girl is working on as a follow-up to a Wheel in Space animation. Woodhouse 122, delighted that you said that. We've mentioned TARDIS Time Girl on this channel before in headlines. In a couple of weeks' time, we're going to be reviewing the Wheel in Space. I'm actually using TARDIS Time Girl's animations for that review.
They're really good. Really good.
Cool. They are. And some of them she did a while ago, didn't she? Some of them she did a while ago before the AI stuff came into its own. But I mean, you've got people that are using tools that are producing stuff way better in another league than what those idiots at Bad Wolf were churning out with $100 million. You know?
That's what makes me quite frustrated, Ian. You know, about this thing. You've got these wonderful people like George IV, TARDIS Time Girl, Mid-Journey. You've got these great creative people taking their time to do good quality stuff. And they're coming along and looking at it going, oh, we don't know, we don't know. You know, they can close them down at any time. Just invest in these people and employ them.
It's investment's the problem, isn't it? These people who are fans give it a lot of love and attention and probably more time than it deserves, because a lot of time put into it. But the quality you can see from the time they've been into it is amazing. It really is, you know. And that's the thing, as Ian was saying, I mean, Bad Wolf had all that money for Shooty's 2 series and put some of that into animation rather than colorizing the Daleks or the War Games. Use it for something like that. It'd be much better use, wouldn't it?
Yeah, completely.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I'd not heard of him before. So I've now followed him on X while I was still allowed to. And there's some great stuff on there. So have a look at it all, everybody. But that's where we are. George IV is another in the Whose Views library of AI experts. It's getting bigger and bigger all the time, to be quite honest.
To
Really
misquote yours or
Absolutely.
Hughes, give them a job. Like,
Yeah.
That's casing you.
yeah, I know it is. Well, I'm ancient, JT, obviously.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Let's get some very sad news coming in from our very own Kirsty right now, live as we're here on the air with you right now. Apparently, Tina Packer, who played Anne Travers in The Web of Fear, has.
That's sad. That's really sad.
A real shame.
That is sad, actually. Thanks for letting us know on that one, Kirsty. Goodness me, there's another one for us then.
She was living in the States, wasn't she? I believe she moved to the States.
I think she did, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Did you have a
she did.
theatre or something? Did she not have a theatre? Did
I
she?
think she was a drama or theatre teacher, I think, at some university somewhere, I think. Yeah.
Sad news, but thanks for letting us know, Kirsty. Tina Packer, who played Anne Travers in The Web of Fear.
And she was lovely in A Web of Fear, almost like a prototype Liz Shaw, but lovely nonetheless.
Yeah, the way she worked with the Doctor trying to get the control sphere sorted and everything. Absolutely bob on. Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. God bless her. God bless her.
Oh no, we've also got this from Phil, who of course later this year is premiering his own Doctor Who fan film called Doctor Who Meets the Scorpion. Phil's with us saying, I've just had some sad news I've seen on Facebook that Havoc's Stuntman unit soldier Derek Martin has now passed away as well at the age of 92.
Man.
Goodness me.
Do you remember, 10 years ago, somebody's mentioned it when Bowie passed away. That was that really naff year, wasn't it? Because people like George Michael, was that the same year? There was a lot of...
Because we have Victoria Wood, Terry Wogan.
Which year was that, though? There was a year where there was an awful lot of them.
Every week.
Yeah, and it feels like it's starting off like that at the minute. That's so sad.
Let's hope not. Oh, gosh, there we go. And news just in from Philip there as well, everybody. Derek Martin, who's a name to a lot of us of a certain age, passed away at the grand old age of 92.
Derek Martin was a lovely actor. Started off as a stuntman, did lots of stunts. Then did a little bit in Image of the Fendal. Was in EastEnders as well, wasn't he? As well, as I can't remember what the Slater character he played. The head of the family. Forgotten his name, but he was a regular in EastEnders for a short time, wasn't he?
I don't know. I know him. Yeah, he was, wasn't he? And he did very well out of that, didn't he? Yeah.
He turned into a really good actor, really. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh goodness me! We've got Legion of James saying to us here. You can also tell the level of love, respect, and passion these creators have towards Doctor Who through what they are creating. Absolutely, they were all there.
I think the thing is, JT, as well. It's like you can put the prompts in, you can feed the images in, and you can get AI to create you an image. But George IV could have just, for example, could have just had a mummy just staring at the screen. What you've got to have is the imagination and the gumption to actually say, put it in this scene, look at it from that angle, do the mist in the woods, have the trees like this, and everything else. Because if you just had trees in the background, it could do it like in the middle of summer with leaves and everywhere. But you've got the atmosphere with all the gnarled branches and everything, and it's winter and all this kind of thing. It's all that as well that goes into it. It's that vision that, again, has been completely lacking from what we've been fed for the last many years.
It's like being an artist or a film director, isn't it? Having that real visual eye. It's a real talent. It really is.
Yeah. And they're showing them up, really. These so-called alleged professionals that are earning millions, they're showing them up by sitting in their front room or their bedroom or wherever they're doing it and doing things on their own time with their own expense. They are. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Cara, are you posting my chat? I use AI as a prompt, but I'm wary of admitting it because of the backlash. That's fair enough. Stephen Braddock saying to us, TARDIS Time Girl offered the wheel and space to the BBC for free to release on home media. She's mad. The BBC turned them down flat. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I think that's one of the stories we reported on when we mentioned the Skinners. That the BBC
the bizarre thing about the BBC get into trouble contractually, don't they, all the time regarding whatever. If you go back to Unearthly Child, etc., blah, blah, whatever. But they're trying to be cautious about it, but they are so stupid and so narrow-minded. They really are. It's crazy. Surely they could, if you offered it, say, OK, we'll take it. Here are the conditions. We won't sell it. You can't claim money for it. We'll do it for free in a contract, and that's all it is, if you're going to do that. Surely there's a way around that legally, without any problems, if you want to do it, It's so narrow-minded, though, isn't it?
If they wanted to do something, they find a way of doing it because it would earn them money. Let's put it that way. What a Oh, they do annoy me. You know how much BBC and everybody around Doctor Who at the moment annoys me, Who viewers. Yes, so thank you for everybody, for Kirsty and to Phil, for giving us those updates there as well. Jason Parker saying to us, look at the love we have for all of these wonderful actors we've lost. Compare this to the current show, most of whom I can't remember at all in less than a few months. It's not going to be the same when the people that are involved...
Shooty Who?
Exactly. It's not going to be the same because they didn't have an impact. This new lot have not had the impact that the original lot had, because it's just different times. That's all it's down to. Different times, and the fact that the show isn't as big as it was previously anymore. Okay, so we've got all that. Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's great to see you all in the chat. Lots of chat going on there as well. So that was our look at the latest AI from George IV that Third Doctor Ian has found there. Thanks for that, Ian. That is brilliant.
No problem.
As well. If anybody out there sees any AI that you like and you want us to mention, whosviews1@gmail.com. Let us know. Some traditional artwork now, of course, comes from our friend Drawing Jack Rabbit.
Lovely.
Hey, love that.
Sea Devil. So thanks for sending
No,
that
that's
in,
a Sea
Jack.
Devil.
And have you noticed the little shoulder look like turtles there? Look at that.
Yeah.
The armor.
It's cool. Lovely, yeah.
But this is Jack's interpretation of a Sea Devil. And I think that was a lot better than what we had in that awful thing in December 2025, which was called The War Between the Land and the Sea.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. If you were with us in December, you'll know that we were looking at this thing, The War Between the Land and the Sea. 5 episodes. Thank God it wasn't more, quite frankly. You'll have seen us doing scores on the ocean floor. It didn't rate that well, with the 5th episode scoring 0 out of 60. So it didn't go down very well with us here at Who's Views.
It's a huge disappointment.
It was, isn't it? Did it go down well with the general public, as well as the minority of Doctor Who fans that are clinging on to anything to do with Doctor Who right now? Bedouia cannot be with us tonight, I'm afraid, but God bless him, he has put together his usual rating analysis. Third Doctor Ian has volunteered, not really, to go through this with us. So are you ready, gentlemen?
Yes.
Strap in. Strap in.
From the titles then. Yes, so here we go then with the ratings analysis for The War Between the Land and the Sea. Now we've managed to get on that. Bedoui's got the 2 sets of ratings in. We're doing this as one full set, so we can get it out the way and forget it ever existed, quite frankly. So we've got 7 days, and we've got the conglomerated as well, haven't we, Ian? And,
yes, we have. Yeah.
This one. So take us through this one.
Do I have to try a Welsh accent on this just so it's more in keeping with Bedouin? No, that's fair enough. All right then. So what we have here, to put things in context. So this is pre the fish thing. This is just looking at Gatwa's 2 years of catastrophes piled on top of catastrophes, just so you can see a comparison of how his 2 seasons fared. So obviously in the blue we have his first season, and in the yellow we have his second season. And what we're looking at here is it's gone off screen now, hasn't it, JT? Have we lost it off screen?
There you go.
What we're looking at is how his first series compared to his second series, and they were not impressive. Okay, so his first season, as we know, was not good. The second series carried on the trend, just a little bit lower. The only kink, if I may use that term, in anything related to Gatwa is episode
That's a fortunate son of phrase, Ian, I think, yeah.
So it was, wasn't it? But I mean, it was all about kinks, really, wasn't it? Because
mainly,
RTD was getting off on one of his kinks in episode 6 of the first series, because that was Rogue. And episode 6 in the second series was the song contest thing. And I had to check up on both of those because I just couldn't bloody remember. There were that, you asked me what the 6th story of one of Tom's or John's seasons were, and I'd be there. But no, I couldn't remember these, so I had to check. So apart from that little bit of a crossover, and thank God we didn't get a crossover between the Song Contest and Rogue, but apart from episode 6, you can see that there was a general trend, and the trend wasn't good. Started at one point, ended lower, started at one point, ended lower. And that was after the 7-day ratings. So if we go on to the next one, JT, which I believe is...
Keep in chat, everybody. Please keep it coming. Here we go. Here's the next one.
Right, so what we've got again is the 28-day comparison, which is the one the BBC bring out before they do their 177-week comparison, just to boost the ratings. But again, so these are the ratings after 28 days. Now, the first thing that we noticed is that even though they had an extra 3 weeks, the ratings didn't really change that much. The interest wasn't there. Even the colour-haired pronoun melts that watched it 26 times had got bored by the end of the first week and weren't watching it anymore. But again, we see that the message is consistent. Rogue and Song Contest crossover. But apart from that, the episode 7 comes a little bit close, which could be seen as interest perhaps in whatever the 2-party finale was. Again, memory, it's so forgettable, isn't it? But again, starts low, ends lower. And the 28 days just confirmed what we knew from the 7 days as well.
Yeah.
So I think we have the overnights now, don't we? So this is just the overnights, which is the rating that we would always work with on Who's Views, because that one was the one most free of any risk of BBC manipulation and spin. So whatever the overnights are is the ones that we looked at as a trend for the season as a whole. And again, started low, ended lower, 2.55, finished at 2.25. Although I've got to be honest, second series didn't end lower on the overnights, to be fair. It did on the 7s and 28s, but it didn't on the overnights. But again, the crossover between Rogue and the Song Contest being the only oddity in that, well, Gatwa was a huge oddity, and not forgetting Resting Bitch Face, of course, in Series 2. But yeah, that was the only crossover with the ratings as far as the overnights was concerned as well. But again, the same trend, really. Not very impressive. These kind of ratings, if these had been Eccleston Series 1 in 2005, would have seen the series cancelled at the end of its 13-episode run. Yeah, you wouldn't have had a Christmas special or anything.
I'm sure we said that on this channel in various shows last year, especially when the second Gatwa series was broadcasting. Had that been 2005, then it wouldn't be here now.
Yeah. No.
And I've since then, of course, I'm often thinking did Russell really want to do that back then? Because we know he's a totally different person now. But it always makes me think, was that always in your head anyway to make the Doctor a high-kicking, mancing ninny? Do you know what I mean? It's very interesting, though, isn't it? Because, those figures for the first and last 2 series of Gatwa, it was a flop. It was an amazing flop. And we were saying on Headlines, weren't we, last year, would people actually come and watch an alleged Doctor Who spin-off? And then we started noticing little things, didn't we, Paul? Like, it wasn't from the makers of Doctor Who. Yeah. That had disappeared. There was no real push to associate the show with the main parent show.
There was no Whoniverse attachment to it, was there?
No.
Yeah, that seems to have died a death now, that whole bloody thing, hasn't it? That awful
Thankfully.
Star Trek intro. I hate it. It's so embarrassing, that thing. Really, really.
It was so Disney when the TARDIS flew through the logo. It was like that fairy. And remember they used to get the Disney land kind of palace thing with the fairy flying there. Like that, wasn't it? Remember that? Yeah.
No, you're right. Matthew Pounders with the saying, "I wish it would spin off." Right.
That's very cleverly put. Yeah.
Dalek Shalom, high point Belinda being shot, low point Belinda recovering. You know what, Dalek Shalom, I've forgotten Belinda. She's going to be a companion that will never register in my head ever.
Well, yeah, I don't know if we're going to get to this later, but have you noticed in the recent DWM, there's a story with Shooty with the Daleks, and Mel's travelling with Shooty now, which is very telling, don't you think? Yeah. But even they're using a classic companion. It's really quite sad.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that.
It's pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really pathetic, isn't it, when you think about it? But
it's terrible. So we've got that now. one of the things that's happened, of course, since the war between the land and the sea was going on, is I've always said, and I will stick to my guns on this, Who viewers, if you produce a show that the great British public, or anywhere actually, but in our terminology, because we've got BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, Channel 4 and Channel 5 still, and then all these other things, but mainly they're repeat channels of the main five. You've got, if you do a show that people want to watch, they will sit down on the night and watch it.
Yeah.
Now, when the war between the land and the sea finished, a few weeks later, another program came along, didn't it, Ian, which proved my point.
Absolutely. In a kind of like, if we think back to the last Christmas, I hesitate to use the term special, but if we think back to the last Christmas special, which went very Harry Potter, with Gatwa and his magically moving broom on the stairs when he was just, it was ridiculous, wasn't it? That as well. And they were talking about.
He's watched it twice. I can tell he has. Yeah.
I wanted to be like you, Paul. Watch it multiple times, but it was. We were talking about that, and the BBC was talking about that big audience didn't exist anymore, and it was blown out of the water as an argument because there was Wallace and Gromit, and there was Gavin and Stacey, and there was Doctor Who here, and there was them way over there, and you couldn't see them; they were so far ahead. And it's still true today, isn't it? Because then we have the next slide, don't we? Which is that program that you're talking about, JT, which is The Traitors, on still at the moment. And here we have Doctor Who's second Gatwa season, overnights, with War Between Whatever, overnights, and The Traitors, first 3 episodes, overnights. Now, I've no doubt that seeing the amount of newspaper and online social media coverage that you're seeing about The Traitors as well, and the chatter about The Traitors, the 7s and 28s for The Traitors are going to be way, way higher. They're probably going to hit 10 million at some point easily. But you just compare those, 2.8, 2.05 and 6.4, virtually 3 times the ratings of either The War Between or Gatwa. I mean, that just says it in a nutshell, doesn't it? In one graphic, that tells you what is going on. Nobody apart from, and you said this, JT, quite a few times, Doctor Who ratings were going down so much that it was going to hit that kind of like baseline, and it was going to be 1 point something or thereabouts. And we saw it.
Get to 1.6, 1.7 at some point, even if it's this Christmas episode. It'll get there. The more it continues in its current form, it'll drop below the 1 million.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw from Gatwa's second series, he had 3 of his 8 episodes overnights were over 2 million. One of them only just 2.05, and that was the opening episode. That gets a season opening bounce, doesn't it? So that didn't really perform very well at all. The final episode, same thing, bit of an end of season bounce, 2.17. Really? When you think about the end of time, what was that, 12 million? Something like that?
Yeah.
With Tennant. And then you've got episode 6, which was the song contest, which of course was absolutely plugged to hell. And you had people like Graham Norton plugging it as well because he was in it, and Rylan and everything else. So 2.57.
The thing about Gatwa's series is that it did have things like Strictly and the Eurovision Song Contest itself helping it. You can't argue that they were on another channel. They were on the same channel. It should have been retaining its audience, but it just couldn't, could it? The War Between the Land and the Sea didn't have that. But what we mentioned, of course, was that the War Between the Land and the Sea was following something called the Antiques Roadshow, which was getting more overnight than that had happened with Doctor Who as well.
The Antiques Roadshow is quite a roller coaster, let's be honest, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been going for something like 60 years itself, nearly, hasn't it? The BBC established Sunday evening. It's part of that old Sunday evening where we had the religious stuff going on, isn't it? It's from that era.
I think maybe they described in the description that Arthur Negus would be defrosted or something. That's why it's so exciting. Yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah. I was just thinking of Arthur Negus because he was quite a name in the day, wasn't he?
He was fantastic. I love him. He was great.
He was 85 years old then, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
But he was a proper star, like most of the
Yes.
people on the BBC and ITV back then, is that you didn't know anything apart from their show and their expertise, and they were there to entertain, and he was there to educate as well by saying, "Oh, this plate comes from blah 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 blah, and it's worth £6,000." You know, all this sort of stuff. But the reason we mentioned the traitors as well is because looking at it comes a couple of weeks after the war between the land and the sea finishes. It didn't have any whole show before it as well or after it. It was just the fact,
No.
as the diagram from Bedouin shows there, that on the first night, overnight, 6.40 people sat down on the night to watch it. Now, it did drop the following two, but that's probably because, and I'm going to defend it here, and I'm going to act like a Doctor Who fan, because the broadcast time was on at that point where it was still Christmassy, New Year type things.
But also, though, that people don't watch Antiques Roadshow as a family anymore, do they? Let's be honest. They watch it at different times on their devices. All the kids watch Antiques Roadshow on the devices, don't they? That kind of thing, don't they?
It must do.
Imagine.
It gets huge reviews after the 7 days. So we've got this one coming up here now from for you as well, Ian. This is here. So this is the War Between the Land and the Sea versus Doctor Who 2025 plus the 7 day.
Yes, mine. I've got them on the screen of mine as well, so it's just a bit bigger, and it was taking its time to load up there. So 7 day ratings again. Do you see? You've got 2 separate programs, okay, that have appeared 6-7 months apart. Because when did Gatwa's thing finish? I know it wasn't
July?
soon enough. It finished
July,
June, July time. Yeah. So we're talking 6 months apart, these 2 shows, thereabouts. But look, they're almost parallel. Do you see that? I mean, the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth episode, start, drop, slight rise, drop, drop. They are virtual parallel lines on that graph, even though they're separate programs, 6 months apart. And I think nobody was being fooled that this wasn't a Doctor Who related show. Let's face it, they spoke about him enough times. They referenced the Doctor enough times. So you can't hide it, can you? This was obviously a Doctor Who related program. Everybody knew. But the trend of the show followed the trend of Gatwa's last series almost perfectly. And I think that's quite telling. However, if they'd had an episode 6, knowing that after 5 episodes, this war program hasn't had a war in it at all, or even a pitched battle, for God's sake, I don't think a 6th episode would have spiked like Song Contest did. But it is interesting and quite telling that those 5 episodes are very, very parallel in the activity of the audience. Definitely.
It really is, isn't it? I mean, again, this thing proves to me, everybody. I mean, look at that. You know, the top line there. For what we're showing people who are listening to the podcast, we're showing the audience figures. So, War Between the Land and the Sea, the 7 day has gone up to 4.31. Episode 2 has gone down to 3.56, and 3.71 for episode 3. Episode 4 is 3.20, and then episode 5 finishes on 3.08. But that is still not enough to say to me that this thing is popular, it's successful, and it's this huge big thing that the propaganda machine has pushed. Now, it's all gone very quiet now, and I bet you'd have used Christmas and New Year as the excuse for that, because they've all had time off, and they don't need to come back to 2026 and push it. But Paul, I reckon that because beforehand we were starting to see things as we were on the air reviewing this, that this thing was successful, and it's not.
What I was going to say was, who was this aimed at? Because we got thrown so many things at us that Doctor Who's not for us, okay? Because it's made for different age group, whatever. Who is this aimed at? Because speaking as just a sci-fi nerd like I am, this is right up my street. I'd love this kind of thing, even if it wasn't Doctor Who connected. And having watched it, it is dull as ditch water. It's really boring. Nothing happened. You know what I mean? So who was this aimed at originally? You know, was it even with even with going back to Ian's sort of a kinkiness of RTD allegedly? I mean, all this fishy, surf and tough stuff going on. I mean, really, who's that aimed at? You know what I mean? Who's it for? You know, it's not even sexy in the slightest. You know what I mean? So it's like
it was like we were saying, and I'm really convinced that I'm right on this, Who viewers. It's like we were saying when we were reviewing this crap. It's as though they wanted just to write some sort of romance based around. They'd gone to see, what's that film? The Sound of Music, or The Sound of Water.
Shape of Water, yeah, Shape of Water.
Shape of Water, right. It's as
The
though
Sound of Music is a different one entirely. There's no fish in that one.
well, it was on. They could have watched that as well. But yeah, they wanted to see The Shape of Water or something like that, and they thought, oh, we could do something like that in Doctor Who, because the whole thing was about. The first 2 episodes weren't even setting up. As we started to say in the reviews, where the hell was the war in this thing called the war between the land and the sea? It was all off stage. You know, you had to do it in your head. Can't be bothered. The whole thing was just to get to episode 3 and the start of a romance. It was awful. Absolutely dire. So anybody that tuned in from episode 3 onwards would have gone, ugh. Or no, can't follow this anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
And no pun intended. There was no climax to episode 5, was there? You know what I mean? Not at all.
No,
you know?
no, there wasn't.
No, and it was really a really phenomenally bad ending, because it was just wrapped up so messily. Like
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, it was all about. Yeah, it was all about getting Russell Tovey in bed with a fish, and then the rest of the episode about him and his fish fingers. Basically, I mean, it was just absolutely gross.
And if there was a series 2 with Patrick Duffy being it, you know what's happening with that? Yeah.
You know, some of these fans, who I probably wouldn't get on with, are absolutely, when's the second series? I need to know what happens next. No, you don't. Grow up, get a grip. It's self-contained. That's what you don't have to see what happens next, and nobody wants to see what happens next.
No, who cares? Who cares? I certainly don't.
A minority.
Yeah.
The minority they were desperate to bring into Doctor Who as well. That's who this was for, I reckon, as well. That minority. Right. Let's go into the chat. We've got Frankie Stanage saying to us, family viewing went when the BBC decided to axe the Gen game in the late 90s, and ITV dropped the Krypton factor with Gordon Burns. I don't count the season with Penny Smith, as it was budget was cut to ribbons. I didn't even know they brought it back, Frankie. But you can't do it without Gordon Burns. I'm sorry, although I am available and I'm quite cheap.
No comment.
We've also got here, Moondust is with us. Hello, Moondust. With more viewing options to watch, so many things. If it's crap, it's easy to quickly switch off and go elsewhere. Exactly. Yeah. And of course, the industry is so busy, having told us over the last several years that you have to capture your audience within the first 5 minutes. Well, the war between the land and the sea, and none of Gatwas did that. So it's as though they've hypocritically forgotten their own rules and dictates in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Strange that. Robert Payne saying to us, well, it's clearly the same audiences on the graphs. Exactly. And we've got to the point now, Robert, where it's clear from the graphs that we've got here that the Doctor Who audience is now minimal. And it's the same people every week. And that's it. This isn't the general public. It's not the not-wees. This is what's left of the fan base. It's as clear as day, because they came back for the war between the land and the sea. It's clear as day. Legion of James is saying the third week's slight increase is people tuning in to see if it was really as bad as they'd heard. By week 4, more left with a resounding, yes, it was as bad as we've heard. Yeah.
It is amazing they lost so many viewers between part 1 and 2. That's very telling. In the same way that happened with their parts 1 and 2 of Shooty's first series, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that episode 1 and episode 3 are both the first of 2 episodes shown on a night, and both which have a drop, just exactly like you've said, Paul. But the fact that that was the first of the 2 episodes on a night, so people came back and thought, oh yeah, probably like was just said, was that really as crap? Yeah, it was. Switch off by episode 4.
But you guys know as well the power of word of mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why Doctor Who was successful back in 2005, 2006, because we were there. And, oh, this is great. It's brilliant. Eccleston's brilliant. Tennant's brilliant. Whatever it was going to be. Oh, it's really good. You've got it. And we brought people into it. So by the time of Tennant's series 4, Tennant's third series, the thing was bloody huge.
Yeah, I had friends who were non-Doctor Who fans telling me it was good as well, which is great.
Yeah.
If we weren't there, if we weren't there to support this thing when it came back after 14 years off the air, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
If we didn't like that first and second series, if we hadn't supported those, it wouldn't be on now. If he brought it back in 2005 with Shooty Gat was a series like Shooty Gat was the first one, we would have walked away after this first, second episode. It wouldn't be there now. We've got Mark, there's Mark right again, saying, says it all in that the spin-off, despite the poor ratings, is still higher than Doctor Who itself. Could you imagine Torchwood consistently outperforming the parent show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that your dog, Ian?
What he's doing at the minute is he's spent the first half hour trying to jump up at the side of the chair, and I know I pick him up sometimes, but I ignored him this time because I knew we were going on to this and I needed to focus. So now he's jumped up on a chair and he's having a mad 2 minutes where he's scratching at the cover. So he'll calm down.
It sounds like you're receiving a dirty phone call, Ian, to be honest.
I might be.
You're right. I couldn't imagine Torchwood consistently outperforming the parent show. For one reason, it was on BBC Three, which was in trouble from the moment it launched all those years ago because they didn't know what to do with it, basically. But secondly, I think it shows the state generally of where the alleged Whoniverse, i.e. Doctor Who, is now. The public don't care. And when you're trying to they're telling us they're bringing it back for this Christmas, and we didn't know, or we can theorize, we're going to report throughout this year, of course, on whether we're right or wrong. If he starts this Christmas with a direct continuation of something that happened in 2025, it's going to get switched off.
Yeah.
It's just about 11 months to go, not long now.
Not long at all. Stephen Braddock wants to know
I think it's...
you were anyway. Oh, wait, you didn't have one.
I think it's right what you said, though, JT. In 2005, he'd hate it. He'd hate it and he'd never admit it. But in 2005, RTD needed us. He needed us. And he begged for us. And he did beg. In Doctor Who magazine and everywhere else, he begged us, who'd stuck with it for 16 years of nothing apart from the amazing McGann. I'll give you that, Paul. Apart from that, we had nothing. And we stuck with it. We supported the books. We supported Doctor Who magazine, which if it hadn't been for us, that would have gone. And he needed us. And he got to where it got, and then he went and he came back. And now he's telling those same people that basically you're scum, effectively. You're not wanted. Yeah. It's not for you. Right. It's for the people. It's for the people he always wanted. And you know what? The people he always wanted either didn't watch it or aren't going to stick with it. And clearly it's not enough to sustain the programme.
That's called positive discrimination, Ian. That's what that's called.
Yeah. The other thing, Ian, as well, is that these people who are Doctor Who fans, especially people who are Doctor Who fans of our age, know what Doctor Who is and understand quality when we see it. And the quality wasn't there. It was paint by numbers television. And that's exactly what we got between on both Doctor Who and the war between the land and the sea. And I think people have started to see through it because it's not just Doctor Who that's guilty of this. It's a lot of television where it's just like, we've got no creativity, we've got no imagination. Let's just go from there to there, to there, to there, to there, to there. And that's what the war between the land and the sea and Doctor Who do, because there's so many things where they don't explain properly. There's no story.
I also think part of the credibility of the land between the war and the sea was the casting as well. It really wasn't very believable, where Russell, his daughter, etc. So many people in it weren't believable or charismatic enough to engage with them, and that's part of the problem. That's so casting's a really important thing, and I think they screwed that up, really, to be honest.
It did. I mean, it didn't work. It didn't work. We've got Water and Dust Walking. Hello to you, saying they want season 2. That's the small minority of fans because they were left feeling that there was no proper ending. Great point. Great point. When you actually do that, when you have a series where you've left them wanting more, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I mean, we've just had it with Stranger Things 5, where a small element of the fan base from the Stranger Things nerds, as they call them apparently, want another episode because they're not, fulfilled, like Water and Just Walking talking about here. Tough titty, that's your lot. Yeah. Go and look at it, deal with it.
Maybe if they protest enough, you might get a second series like Stranger Things in about 5 years' time. You never know.
I know. I was lost in that. If you didn't
see what you wish for, though,
if you didn't see our live review, it was part of our Whose Views Recommends series. We went live on Wednesday, where Kirsty, lady of the chat, and Phil and Miles came and blinded me with stuff about Stranger Things 5. I'm not quite sure I want to know about ever again. But you can go and have a look at that and see if they recommended it or not. John Mason is saying to us, is this 2026 Christmas special going ahead? Yes, it is. They've committed to it. And as soon as Russell is finished with his Channel 4 TQ cult drama with Red Productions, he's back to write the 2026 Christmas special, which is an hour episode. Well, actually, it might just be over an hour, I believe. But it's around about an hour. And I guarantee you, John, he's going to kick off with Billy Piper.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. I can feel it in the water.
There's a rumor doing the rounds. It's called the Lost Doctor, and that's why she's in it. She's not the Doctor, but
Well, we're going
she's
to talk
something.
more.
Yeah,
Stay with us because, we're here on a Saturday with you.
Yeah.
We're going to be back tomorrow. And part of tomorrow's show is the rumours that have already started going around on early 2026. There's a load of rumours going around. We're going to be looking at some of that tomorrow. Okay, some of that going around tomorrow. I don't know, but talking about that, I don't know if you saw just this afternoon, everybody, here on the 10th of January, 2026, the latest rumor also hit, as it started to hit fandom, that there might be another hiatus coming after Christmas 2026. And they're not handling that rumor very well, some of them, I can tell you. But there's no scheduled series booked in so far for 2026 for screening in 2027. That's what they've suddenly, and we've been saying it on this channel for bloody ages. There's nothing in the can yet, and nothing going in the can, nothing prepared for 2027, because you'd have to film it now.
Well, I think the Christmas special is a way to shut people up, isn't it? Yes, it's coming back 2026, but is it really? I don't know.
Yeah.
One episode you'll get for 2026, and then we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but I reckon they'll go into easy things to shoot next year, i.e. 3 or 4 1-hour episodes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they'll take the coward's way out personally. Matthew Pounder, hello to you. The episodes have pre-programmed warnings, may contain upsetting scenes, truer words were never said. And Sheila, being the devotional, saying to us, I've had more fun watching Ashens with his out-of-date foods and purchases from Poundland, etc. on YouTube. All right, thank you. There's a plug for them, whoever that is. Jason G is saying to us, Jason, hello, mate. Bet Third Doctor's Ian's dog shows the wall between the couch and the sheet will get more viewers. Possibly.
So that people are talking about you there.
They are. All right, so let's get back to where we were. Now, we've got one of my favourite graphs that Bedweer always does, is this one, where you can clearly see the overnight rating and the overnight rating to +7 here.
Absolutely. And for those, like you've mentioned them before, JT, the people that are listening to the podcast afterwards that have only got audio, you can see here the blue and the green. I'm sure that'll help them. So the blue we have the overnights, and the thing that's really good about this graph that Bedweer has done for us is it shows exactly how much the episodes have fared when you add them together. So basically overnight and end of the week since the original transmission, and you can see that the trend is repeated. So if you just look at the blues, you've got up, down, and then roughly the same. And if you look at them as green, you've got up, down, and roughly the same, only slightly lower. So the overall trend hasn't changed. And I think that this is probably reflective of the gap were cheerleaders watching it multiple times, to be quite honest. It's not an extra 1.5 million people tuning in. It just isn't. It doesn't have that. If there was that many people that were that interested in watching it later, they'd be watching it or making an effort to watch it as it went out. And you can't say that wouldn't be the case, because refer back to Traitors. If people want it, they will stay in and watch it. And nobody is that interested in Doctor Who. And it reflects itself here in the war between the land and the sea. Nobody is interested in it.
Remember, everybody, as well, is that these +7 and the other ratings that they're now producing in desperate attempts to show that they're all relevant also include each iPlayer view. Yeah.
And I think you only have to watch it for 30 seconds, don't you?
Something like that. But I've said it before, and I continue to say it. The whole thing about that is that it doesn't work when you're looking at something like Doctor Who, because Doctor Who fans go back and watch the thing immediately. And I know that's true, because that's what I used to do with my audio cassette and my VHS. I'd record it and then go back and watch it again throughout the week.
I don't understand how they could watch The War Between Land and Sea more than once. I had enough trouble watching it once. Honestly, they must be clinically insane, allegedly. Yeah,
it was incredibly underwhelming, wasn't it? I mean, if you think back, let's go back to when they were filming Sea Devil. So you're talking 1971, aren't you, for going out in 1972, and you've got Barry Letts and Terence Dix. And they don't have much money, because Doctor Who never did. The classic show never had loads of money. And yet they managed several action scenes, action sequences, all sorts, sea devils coming out of the sea and landmines and things like that, rappelling down cliffs, gun battles, sea devils attacking the prison, getting the master out, lots of gunfights and everything, and then fighting the Royal Navy on the beach and the hovercraft and everything else. That was, even now, that looks good to watch. Yes, and you did not get one exchange of gunfire in this story. 5 episodes of absolute toss, and there was not one sea devil firing at a person or a person firing at a sea devil. You know, you had people firing at people. You know, you had people trying to snipe at Kate Stewart and sadly missing, but you didn't get any sort of like interspecies fighting at all. But they marketed this as being a war. You know, I mean, it was just rubbish.
It should have been called Sex Under the City or something, shouldn't it? Yeah.
They should have just been called. I mean, as I say, the whole thing, I mean, it was a romance, and that's all they wanted to do. They wanted to write.
Yeah.
And yet again, when you look at RTD's track record, again, this is the only thing he can do. It's a similar thing. He can only write soap opera style dramas which involve people's sexuality or some sort of kissiness. That's all he can do. Yeah. He's not suited anymore to Doctor Who, and nobody at BBC Studios is prepared to listen to me when I'm preaching at them, for heaven's sake. Moriarty's with us saying, I'm thinking the BBC trying to punch Ncuti as a gay black man was the most regressive maneuver they could ever have made. Even an edgy comedy show would have backed away from that idea. Absolutely. But again, it's right on for them, isn't it? Because you're all like that. The DEI, oh, look how many boxes we've just ticked with our casting. Oh, it's fabulous, and aren't we brilliant and wonderful? Gilliam SL, has the war between the land and the sea been shown in Disney US yet? No. And not just Disney US, but Disney outside the UK, Disney worldwide, as I sort of call it. It hasn't appeared on Disney at all.
Well, that says a lot, doesn't it?
It does, but I wouldn't go looking for it when they do, to be quite honest, because it really is truly awful. JBT is with us. Hiya, it's Jane. Hello, darling. How are you? I was going to phone you earlier and completely forgot. I'll do it. I'll phone tomorrow. Managed to work out how to message. I love the show and you're looking great. Thank you. That's a friend of mine. Say hello, everybody, to Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Hello, Jane.
Good to see you, darling. I will phone you. I promise.
We're not jealous, Jane. How are Paul and I looking? Because we're not jealous, but we'd like to know.
She's just messaged.
I'm in soft focus and everything as well. But,
which is your best side, Paul?
I don't. Probably to quote Alfred Hitchcock, I'm probably sitting on it. But yeah.
How nice is to listen to the thing. I didn't watch the fish thing, by the way. Maybe one day. I'm just not that interested, to be honest. It shows how bad things have become. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that are the same, really, isn't it? You know, John's saying, I'll never watch it. Woodhouse 122, I have a feeling Disney Plus won't air the spin-off. We've also had here as well, if I can find it again. Where was it? There, from Alfie Doherty. You know what? Let's just stop talking about it and just get rid of it. I suppose because we might as well, or I've just become bored of Doctor Who now, unfortunately, but keep up the channel. We certainly will, but you're not alone. There's an awful lot of people that, thanks to what they've produced over the last 3 years, people have got disassociated with our favourite sci-fi show because it hasn't given them what they've wanted, and they've walked. Yes. And they're going to try. How are they going to try and bring that audience back? This is really difficult. They're so arrogant, these alleged TV makers. They just assume everybody's going to watch it and they're going to be giving them a gift. No, you've no audience.
Like we said before, it's become so much of a joke. It needs a long gap in order to come back and be missed and be loved again. And at the moment, people are indifferent to it, to say the least. You know what I mean? So,
and it's time now, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is.
If people have time, what are they going to grow to love again? Because we had time and reflected on all the stuff we had through the 60s, 70s and 80s, and our love for it only grew. And it really did. It was nostalgia. We saw through the dodgy effects and the rubbish sets and wobbly sets and stuff like that. We knew that and we loved it for it. But are you going to look back on Gatwa or Whittaker and over years grow affectionate towards it and want it to come back? I don't think you are. I really don't.
There was
You
no
won't
audience
miss the
for
wobbly
it.
acting from that era, will they? You know.
We know from experience as well during our time during the wilderness years when the show was off air for 15 years, Who viewers, don't forget that, is that we were going to gigs and conventions and stuff like that. And I couldn't believe how many people were bringing their kids because people had started to reproduce.
Yeah.
And they were introducing their
Well,
children.
Doctor was off there, wasn't it, at that point? So there's something else to do.
Nothing else to do. Exactly. Matthew Pound is reminding us that War Between the Land and the Sea ripped off Aquaman. Pollution washing up on the shores, falling in love with an underwater girl. That's what I was saying. And then we've got The Shape of the Water as well. It was all about just writing some sort of, and it was a really weak, silly, stupid romance as well. It made no sense.
Yeah.
PTA, Paul Ashworth, thank you so much for your super chat. That fish thing, did Disney ask for Winnie the Pooh or dog poo? Exactly. Thanks, PTA. Water and Just Walking is saying what we've been saying, what you've just said, Ian. If it has a gap now, do current viewers have enough quality memories to pull them back? No, not at all.
Yeah.
We've also got this from John Steele. Good to see you, mate. I'm that sick of bad TV. I'm watching more and more older programs from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. John, ask me what I've been watching over the last couple of days. I'm glad you asked me. I watched Destiny of the Daleks, Day of the Daleks, and The Deadly Assassin.
Wow. Wonderful.
Fabulous television.
Are you just doing Doctor Who's to begin with D? Is that what's happening?
I hadn't realised that, but yeah, it was, wasn't it? Really? Tony Gray said it lacks soul. Well done.
Yeah.
He'll be back tomorrow with us as well. And Legion of James says, I don't think I've ever rewatched a new Who episode, yet for decades I regularly stuck on proper Doctor Who. It says it all. It really does. I mean, I watched a few of them back, and we're going to be doing another as we celebrate 60 years of the Cybermen this year. We are going to be looking at some of the modern Who's take on the Cybermen. That's going to be a very interesting discussion when we come to reviewing them. But I always go back to my Doctor. My Doctors, 7 of them. I don't go back to 9, 10, 11, 12. That's where it stops.
I think that's the sad thing about it. Even with new Who fans like Kirsty, Emilio, Miles, etc., who've watched it and got into it through that, even they're disillusioned by the series as well, which is really sad.
It's heartbreaking.
They don't have that continuation of their love for it going forward like they had with us, which is such a shame. You know,
we've got one more slide from Bedouin, and it's this one. This is The War Between the Land and the Sea, overnight rating with the rating +7 before we got to that graph. So you can see it. You can see it clearly there as it dips, as it dives, everybody.
Yeah, it follows the trend. There's no improvement. You would sometimes think if it had gone out and there was something like a major sporting event or whatever on the other side, or something that made people turn the TVs off afterwards, a little bit like episode 1 all the way back in 1963, you know, the news of Kennedy. It was widely known at the time that a lot of people were just so stunned they were turning their TVs off and just sitting listening to the radio or whatever. So they showed episode 1 again before episode 2, and it would be in a way this, you know, you're doing the +7, counting the additional ratings to see if there's a spike. People are catching up with it, which of course they couldn't do in 1963. But no, it doesn't work. The extra 7 days don't save this absolute dross. The message is the same. People are not interested. Episode 1, which ran straight into episode 2, saw a loss. Episode 3, which ran straight into episode 4, saw a loss. You know, 0.8 of a million loss between episode 1 and 2, 0.5 of a million dropping between episode 3 and episode 4. And then episode 5, which was on its own, a drop again. Yeah. You know, it was, what you didn't get was, so the first Sunday was episodes 1 and 2. So episode 3 was the following Sunday, and you had an increase. Episode 5 was again the following Sunday, and the only episode, but this time you didn't have an increase. By that point, the damage was done. People knew this was shit and just didn't bother.
No. And again, I'm going to say it again, that's what's left of the Doctor Who fandom that will tune into these things no matter what. But I put it to you all now. The state this show is in, our beloved show, it can't carry on with RTD. That's known. It can't carry on with Bad Wolf, unfortunately. It's got to go. Because if they want to try and make the success, as BBC Studios do, they know they're onto something. They know it can make them money. They know it can be big. Yeah. So they want the main show and they want all these spin-offs. You've got no chance right now. And the war between the land and the sea, as Bedwyr has proved then, as Ian has read out, has proved that, because you cannot launch an alleged spin-off show when your parent show, the main show, is in as much trouble as it is, because nobody cares. Nobody watches it. And that's including the majority of the fan base. Sad times.
Really sad. Yeah.
Again, huge thank you to Bedwyr for providing those details for us. That was our usual look at the ratings breakdown, this time for the war between the land and the sea. Let's get into the chat and have a look at what you're saying then. We've got loads of you with us. It's great to see you all. Thank you. Matthew Pounder is saying to us that Jerry Anderson would have been an excellent producer. He hated Doctor Who, though, didn't he?
He did, didn't he?
I'm sure the puppets would be better than Shooty and Millie, to be fair,
yeah. So. Stephen O'Neill is saying to us, I've been watching classic poetry on the Eden channel. They're up to the Green Death. Surprisingly, they've not shown the Mind of Evil or Day of the Daleks.
Well, they did show Planet of the Daleks and Frontier Space, which was a real surprise because the Daleks in those. I thought they were banned to show Dalek episodes, but obviously not.
Yeah, it shows me as well that they've somehow placated the Terry Nation estate when it comes to the repeats.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody when you get a repeat, you're supposed to get some sort of payment to everybody that's involved in it.
Yeah.
So they've got around that some way. I'm gonna ask questions about how they've done that. Let's have a look. Steve Braddock saying it was a dead fish. And Mark A. Wright is saying to us, if there's one saving grace to this unmitigated disaster, it's that we were right. How we felt was right. Despite being constantly shunned and told we were not welcome, we should be reassured. Well, they told us to all go away, and the majority of us did, obviously.
Yeah.
That thing could have been huge if they'd done it properly, if they just provided science fiction, if they just provided Doctor Who, if they just provided a spin-off with the Sea Devils in it, they could have been looking at 7 million.
It had huge potential. Huge.
Yeah. Water and Dust Walking saying to us, CBBS will be the main show, and I have lots of merchandise. And we've got John Mason saying to us, the BBC could never produce good Doctor Who. They're too attached to promotion of the message. They certainly are at the moment. It's such a shame. And it's one of the reasons they're in trouble. We'll come into that in a minute, because somebody in the industry has been kicking off about them again. And Moondust also saying to us, being outside the UK, if no deal is done, I don't sail the high seas, then any future Doctor Who won't matter. At the moment, from what we know, the Christmas episode for 2026 will be BBC Studios produced with BBC One. Let's see how that goes throughout this year, shall we? Stay with us here on Who's Views. Make sure you're subscribed. Because honestly, this is going to be a quiet year for the thing on the television. It's going to be a huge year for news coming from it from backstage. It's going to be massive, 2026. Probably one of the biggest news years we've had since 1996.
I'm hoping a Shooty biography will come out because I'm running short of Andrex. That'll be fun.
We'll move on to this. Jeremy Clarkson has been talking about the BBC. Now, Jeremy Clarkson, as you may know, has fallen out with the BBC big style over the last God knows how many years for various reasons, which we won't go into now. But he's not a fan of the BBC. He's not a fan of the Labour government. People get at him all the time, but all I do is actually agree with some of the things he says, and the other things he says make me laugh. I don't think there's anything wrong with the guy, to be quite honest, guys. I don't know about you two.
Well, most people don't have a sense of humour. He's got a very good sense of humour, and that's part of the point. They miss the fact sometimes he's joking, sometimes he's not. You know what I mean? But so
you've got to have a sense of humour with him as well.
Exactly.
I like his show Clarkson's Farm, which I've discovered while I was ill, and I was quite addicted to it because he can be very funny.
Yeah,
and he's actually doing this very serious business. You know, he's doing this and he's trying to make this business and he's also driving awareness of farmers in the United Kingdom and the problems that they face from successive governments, not just the useless current one we've got, but successive. And it's huge, the problems they've got. Absolutely massive. And I love the fact that he's drawn so much attention to him. But his show is actually very good and it's very funny. But you have to have a sense of humour. You know, because some of the things he says. It's our sort of sense of humour from 20, 30 years ago when you were allowed to laugh at stuff.
Yeah.
Mark, thank you for your super chat. I've seen bits of Starfleet Academy, whatever for.
Oof. Yeah.
I never thought I could say Gatwa won't fit in a program because he's too masculine. What's happened to sci-fi?
It's not Butch anymore. That's it. So
Star Trek is another one of our beloved franchises that they actually DEI to the max. And really took the piss out of, because we as sci-fi fans, we as the general public have to be lectured to by these showbiz lovelies. They drive me mad. They make me sick. I used to love Clarkson on Top Gear, says Steve Braddock, before his humour fell foul of the DEI BBC. That's why they fell out. That's one of the reasons, wasn't it? And also the fact that he slapped somebody.
Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh.
I think Clarkson is a very accomplished journalist, isn't he? The newspaper articles he writes are laced with a rapier-style wit that just hits the point every time. He very rarely misses his point. But the fact that he's quite eloquent and educated and quick-witted, he can basically cut any critic to pieces. And when he's turning that to something practical, like with his farm, it was a genius idea. I mean, he's had this farm for 20 odd years, and the Grand Tour was coming to an end, and he was looking for something else, and he pushed this forward. Now, my boss, he loved Clarkson's Farm, and I'd never watched it. It was 2 series in, and we had to go and down to Farnborough to see a supplier. And on the way back, he said, we were in the car, and on the way back, he said, "Do you mind if we just nip via Clarkson's Farm?"
Oh, bless.
So I was like, "Yeah, fine, okay." And so you're talking series 2, so they hadn't properly done the car park or anything like this. And so we went in the shop and everything else, big queue, and it was chucking it down. But you could sense the kind of like people were thrilled to be there, even on a crappy rainy day. And parking halfway down the lane and having to walk up and everything like that. So we got back, and I said to my wife, senior management, I just said, let's watch this. And we just watched it every night, series 1, series 2, and couldn't wait for series 3, series 4. Absolutely addicted. If nobody's ever seen it, watch it. It's brilliant. But also, I would say he's probably done more, but he did a documentary on a British commando raid in World War II on the submarine repair docks in France, where the British took an old destroyer and packed it full of explosives and rammed the gates. And it's an incredible story. If you ever get a chance to see that, I think it's Saint-Nazaire in France. If you see it, Clarkson makes it. I mean, it's an incredible story anyway. It'd make a brilliant film in the way that British cinemas never do. We never make decent films about stuff that we've done, whereas the Americans are doing it all the time, even about stuff they haven't done. Yeah. But it's a fantastic story, but the way Clarkson brings it across is absolute genius. So when he writes something or is on the news for it, it certainly catches my attention, as did this.
Well, he's certainly not shy. Let's put it that way, is Mr. Clarkson, as we know. And only this week he's been in the paper as well. This has come from the Daily Mail. Jeremy Clarkson launches blistering attack on the BBC, naming and shaming stars involved in huge scandals as the broadcaster hits a new low. The article says, Jeremy Clarkson has launched a blistering attack on the BBC, taking aim at the broadcaster for hitting a new low with its worst ever ratings over Christmas. The former Top Gear host, who was let go from the BBC in 2015, insisted he wasn't holding a grudge against the television company as he named and shamed stars involved in scandals on their channels over the years. Jeremy, who is 65, took to his column in The Times to once again address his exit from the corporation following an altercation with a producer on the set of Top Gear. The TV presenter, who went on to star in Prime Video's The Grand Tour alongside former co-hosts Richard Hammond and James May, said that while his fans likely expect him to launch into a tirade of abuse against the BBC over his rather public removal, he instead wanted to focus on being treated like a naughty scallywag. Admitting his life was improved immeasurably since leaving the BBC, that I can believe, Clarkson said he felt a tiny bit smug a tiny bit smug about the scandals that unfolded both before and after his exit. When I was there, I was seen as the ultimate bad boy, Clarkson wrote, adding while reflecting on Forever, appearing in the papers for various transgressions, that he was treated like nothing more than a naughty scallywag. He hit out that even before leaving the broadcasters, there were problems within the broadcasting house, where the BBC has been based for over 90 years. Clarkson continued that the controversies he faced were minor in comparison with what he felt are far more serious scandals to rot the broadcaster both at the time of his exit and after. He wrote about the misconduct and crimes of other BBC figures, including Rolf Harris, who was found guilty on 12 counts of indecent assault in 2014. Clarkson also noted that Savile, the sexual abuse scandal that unfolded in 2012, and more recently, Hugh Edwards, who was sentenced for possessing indecent images of children in 2024. The article continues that despite these scandals, he was reprimanded for what he felt were comparatively trivial matters, like the name of his dog, Didier Dogba, which saw him accused of racism. Clarkson also noted editorial failures within the broadcaster, including the recent editing of a speech by Donald Trump in a Panorama documentary and the use of a reporter in Gaza with alleged links to terrorism. He also hit out a woeful Panorama episode that explored racism in policing. Taking aim at Doctor Who, writer Russell T. Davies, Clarkson went on to suggest that RTD had ruined one of the BBC's top performing shows with ham-fisted climate change dialogue in the new spin-off of The War Between the Land and the Sea. Now, thank goodness our stuff.
I guess naughty scallywag isn't actually his words, is it? I'm sure they're much more colourful than that, will they?
No, they might. The whole problem is, as well, is that at one point the BBC was actually tolerating lad and ladette behaviour, and that was something called the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, this sort of stuff was going on all places, in entertainment especially. But you know what? Again, there's an element to this where he mentions RTD and he mentions Doctor Who. Now, this would have been read by God knows how many people. It's more bad publicity for the show. And it's all because they're not writing the show properly, because they have to put in their ridiculous agendas.
Yeah. They can't help it, can they?
No.
It's interesting when he mentions Doctor Who's quite positive about it, him destroying a good flagship show, which is obviously he maybe quite liked it. I don't know. It was quite good prior to him coming back anyway, you know, or some of it was, you know.
Well, I mean, he would have been, I mean, he's just in his early mid 60s, isn't he? He's about 65, I think. So he would have been of an age where he would remember William Hartnell. Probably would have been about 5 or 6 or something like that. So he'd remember Hartnell. He'd know how groundbreaking it was in the early 1960s. So he will remember Doctor Who at its absolute best. Hartnell, Troughton, Pertwee, early Tom Baker. You know, I mean, that's going to be ingrained in him just in the same way it is with us. And he'll have seen it, absolutely.
John Steed's saying to us here, guys, the BBC and ITV have given up on the Christmas ratings as they are both in the twilight of their programming years. Give it 15 years and they will be gone. I mean, the whole point of this is that, as we said in our review of the year show at New Year, the BBC had just suffered the most embarrassing results for their Christmas Day programming, with the lowest ratings ever in its history. Ever. Now, considering, as you pointed out earlier, Third Doctor, in last year, they had huge ratings with Wallace and Gromit and Gavin and Stacey. Massive. I mean, the things have both got over 20 million views now, when you include the 7-day, the 28-day, all that nonsense. So to go from that and then being applauding themselves and patting themselves on the back and say, oh, look at us, weren't we great at Christmas, blah, 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 as they did afterwards, to absolute quiet this time around. Clarkson was right to point it out. And what Clarkson's doing here, is he does a lot of the time, is he's just pointing out what the British public are thinking. Now, the British public don't care about the BBC and its ratings, but what they did care about is that they got their copy of the Radio Times or the TV Times or what's on TV or whatever they were getting, probably one of the cheaper ones, and they're looking at it thinking, there's nothing on. How many times in history in Britain, when you look at the BBC, have we sat down and said there's nothing on?
At Christmas time, very, very rarely that was the case. Exactly. I was a kid. Yeah.
Exactly. There was always something, wasn't there? And And this time they let everybody down. So for Clarkson to write about it, he's just saying what we're all thinking. What was going on?
He's shining that torch on it, isn't he? That spotlight that the BBC's not going to want, but is absolutely warranted. It needs doing, and he's a perfect person to do it because he uses the right words in the right way and makes the point, and there's no hiding from it. The BBC can't shy away from that. It's absolutely true, and the ratings prove it.
And the other thing, go on, Paul.
Okay, it's interesting you mentioned Rolf Harrison, Savile, etc., and Hugh Edwards. I don't know if you've seen in the press recently, there's a Channel 5 docudrama with Martin Clunes as Hugh Edwards, which will be interesting, But Channel 5 are doing it interestingly. It was interesting.
I don't know if it's too soon or not. I haven't decided. I
think possibly it is, yeah.
I won't be watching it, even though Martin Clunes, Snake Dance, of course, where he did his first telly. But I like Martin.
Didn't the BBC do a Savile one?
Yeah.
Didn't the BBC do a Savile one?
It's really good, but really disturbing at the same time. It's really well played by Steve Coogan, really good. But
again, I can't watch it. It's real, isn't it? When you know the story,
it's like they're trying to get ratings from something that they actually knew was going on and turned a blind eye to.
It's shocking,
allegedly.
Isn't it? It's shocking, and the fact that they do that just to get more views makes me sick. Actually, you should have dealt with it. I mean, there was a lot of blind eyes allegedly going on, as there is today, as you can see from the Hugh Edwards scandal, allegedly. You know, God knows.
But you always get people in positions of power, and I'm not mentioning any names, but you always get people in positions of power who either think or say they're too big and untouchable, don't you?
Well, they start to believe their own myth, don't they? I mean, these people we mentioned before, like Savile especially, but Harris and Edwards, they thought they were untouchable. God knows what's going to happen. But the fact that Clarkson has written this and it's being reported, stemming from the fact that you didn't do anything at Christmas, you've deserved what you got. You've got to do something about it, and then he's tied it all within your. Basically a hypocritical organization full of hypocritical idiots. I totally agree with them on that. The other thing the BBC don't ever want to admit is their obsession, not with drag queens, but that's one of the things, but their obsession with DEI. And as Mark says to us here, Mark Wright, a co-producer of Top Gear, Andy Wellman, recently said that the BBC were constantly trying to break up the presenting team amid diversity concerns to replace one of them with a Black or Asian presenter. Mark, I've seen this with Andy Wellman. It's available on the Tube of Who. You can see Andy Wellman being interviewed. It's an interesting interview as well, and he's very upfront and honest. This wouldn't surprise me because you had 3 white alpha males, lads, 3 white lads, basically. They were of a certain age, but they were lads from the lad culture, presenting a show about cars for, surprise, surprise, lads.
And that's why people watched it,
The lads watched it in their millions, didn't they? Not just in this country, but BBC Studios made a fortune in selling it around the world. In fact, it outdid Doctor Who for a couple of years as the number one BBC Studios seller out of the UK.
Now, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but when it was made, when it was earlier made in the 70s, when Clarkson was on, or late 70s, early 80s, wasn't Angela Rippon a presenter at one point?
I think she was, actually, but didn't she do Come Dancing as well?
I think so, yeah. But it's interesting, she was on it before, became really laddish, but you see, even then, I'm going to be ticking the odd box.
I think with Top Gear, I never really watched it, although some of the stuff I've seen with Clarkson is blisteringly funny. I think Top Gear was pretty much canned at one point because its ratings just dropped, and he redevised the formula and brought it back as a different show, basically same name, different format, and it really took off. So it was largely due to Clarkson anyway, I think.
Right.
And obviously people like Willman, who was producer, I believe, all the way through, and they really got a winning formula, but the BBC didn't like it, and that comment was exactly right. It's like Doctor Who was appealing, certainly New Who was appealing to boys and girls, wasn't it? It was like a 50-50 audience, really. But the BBC decided that what those females watching Doctor Who wanted was a female doctor. And of course, a lot of the critics of Whittaker were girls, and they didn't like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And likewise, you know, I've not converted here, but I've got gay friends who are Doctor Who fans, and they hated Shooty. You know, that wasn't representation for them. They don't want that kind of thing, as JT
No.
will agree with, you know. So it's
Absolutely.
bizarre, isn't it? Yeah.
He didn't
So,
want the high kicking,
yeah.
dancing ninny.
Yeah.
That's not the Doctor. His
No.
version, his reiteration was not Doctor Who. I mean, compare that to Hartnell, Troughton, Pertwee, or Baker. You can't. It was bloody awful. That just was
Well,
not.
Pertwee couldn't do that. He had a bad back. He couldn't kick. He couldn't do that.
Yeah, but it wasn't Doctor Who in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, this is what we've got now as well. And the whole thing about the Top Gear is, it wasn't, as I say, it was massive, it was huge, it was bringing them in, but people changed the BBC and thought, no, we can't have that because of DEI. Everything changed over years, didn't it, in the BBC? Everything had to be. Your news changed. Question of sport. Do you remember they got rid of Sue to replace her with DEI tick boxing elements, and it didn't last the series. It got axed very quickly after what, nearly 50 years, maybe 40, 50
something
years.
Something like that, yeah.
It got axed just because of the DEI tick box thing. I guarantee you they'll try and do something like that with Strictly Come Dancing when it comes back in 2026 with 2 brand new hosts, because the 2 women that have been hosting it in here have gone now. So I guarantee you they'll put some DEI tick box in that, and it won't last.
What happened? Why did they leave? I missed that in the news. Why did they get the elbow? Did they do something that was...
No, they didn't get the elbow. Apparently they've got... I reckon they saw the writing on the wall, Paul.
All right, okay. It's wonderful.
I think you might be right on that.
Yeah.
But Strictly Come Dancing over the last few years has gone completely woke. I mean, it was supposed to be based on ballroom, wasn't it? Now, I know a lot of the rooms, the rules of ballroom, you don't have same-sex couples in ballroom dancing. You don't have bloody drag queens in same-sex, in ballroom dancing, but the BBC has to. And they've gone away from that original setup with Bruce of this is ballroom, and we follow the ballroom rules to woke alleged entertainment.
Yeah.
You know,
I heard Claudia Winkelman's going to get a chat show or something. Have you heard
getting a chat show from the BBC. Yeah, she'll be good at that because that's what she always used to do.
Yeah.
Stephen Braddock is saying to us, Top Gear wasn't about cars. I watched it for the comedy because the 3 of them were good together. And that was the other sell. If you've got a cast that is good together and the public like it, they're going to come and watch it, aren't they, Stephen? We've got Funky saying to us here, Top Gear knew its audience and supported it. Absolutely. Yeah. And then things in the BBC changed. You know, it's a shame, really is a shame. And Terrified Monks with us saying Clarkson got a demanding voice like Tom Baker has. It's one of those voices you could read the phone book and you'll listen to him.
Yeah.
You know, and he's made himself even more popular here in the UK over the last couple of years just through his support of the farmers and saying things like this about the BBC. And it's tying in very much. I mean, he's been ahead of where we are all at now. He's been slightly ahead, really. You know, but
He did a brilliant, I think it was his 2nd series with Clarkson's Farm. It got to the end of the year and they were totting up, you know, like we're right, this is our outgoings, this is our incomings, this is what we've sold, this is what we've done here, this is what we've done there. And at the end of the year, the farm had made something like 200 quid.
But it wasn't through
that was
farming.
No, and it was literally 200 quid. Yeah. And that highlighted exactly how hard farmers have it. But people just see, that's worth so many millions of pounds. It's like, but it's not money you can touch. It's not like an asset that you can go out and spend. It's people just look at it in simplistic terms, and Clarkson's done a fantastic job for farmers. Absolutely, more of it, really.
Exactly. And we've got Matthew Pounds saying something here, and here for this, Matthew. Farmers are the backbone of this country. Well, it's about time certain politicians and certain government in our country actually woke up to that fact, because without food, we will cease to function. Yeah. Bloody hell. It's ridiculous, isn't it, Matthew? Thank you for that, Matthew. Go on, Paul.
I was agreeing with you about the farmers, because we should support farmers constantly. We need to be self-sufficient as a country and not rely on other countries delivering stuff as much as we can afford to do that, you know, and support farmers for cattle, for potatoes, etc., all agricultural things, because it's so important. It's crazy, you know. And now it's a no-brainer, really, you know.
And now we've got a government that doesn't care. Has had to just do a massive U-turn recently as well. They're going to attack them some more. They're attacking the hospitality industry right now. These are the 2 biggest backbones of the country we have. And we've got idiots running the place that don't understand that. Absolutely ridiculous.
It's like energy as well. We should be able to provide our own energy for our own country rather than get gas from the Ukraine, etc., or whatever.
Exactly.
We should provide our own, or get
Exactly.
our own electricity provided by nuclear power stations or whatever. It's incredible.
The annoying thing is we're capable of it. We just can't be bothered because we've got the wrong people in charge. Do you know what I mean? And now
what somebody told me
for all these bloody people that are coming into the country that need somewhere to live. Shocking.
What somebody told me, JT, somebody that's in the know, said that the number of wind turbines that aren't actually connected to the national grid, therefore aren't actually providing electricity, is a national scandal, or it would be if it came out.
It's true. It's true, isn't it? Yeah, it's absolutely true. Thank you for joining us. You're watching Who's Views. This is Headlines. It's Saturday, the 10th of January, 2026. Good to see you. This is, of course, part one. We've got tomorrow to go with Headlines on Sunday, live at 8 here on the channel as well. Lots coming up in tomorrow's show for you as well. But what I want to talk to you now, which will basically tie into what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, is the amount of rumours that have cropped up over the last week or couple of weeks, certainly since New Year. And we're starting 2026 with a load of what I think is fan speculation. But it doesn't help when you have people who are associated closely with the show possibly stirring because they know they're going to stir it. And I am talking, of course, as ever, about RTD. Have you seen this?
Wife, Whoopi, have a message for the people.
Yes. Come on!
The ultimate crossover. Let's do Doctor Who.
Yes.
And Star
We need Doctor Who and Star Trek done. We need a Doctor Who here in America as well.
Controversial. Let's do it.
Share the love.
This is in no means official before you all start writing.
Stop freaking out. But remember, who is ethereal? Who is not a human? So who can be anywhere, can go everywhere, anywhere. We need a Who just about this time.
And Star Trek is forever. Protecting the human race.
That's right.
Let's do it.
Okay, so can anyone tell me what that was about?
No, but the idea of a Star Trek Doctor Who crossover, I don't want that. Please don't give us that. There's no need for that at all. Although I had this Paramount might be the next possible streaming partner, but see what happens.
Did you see? She's saying he's not human, and RTD's nodding sagely, having spent 2 years trying to make the bugger human.
And to make him a homosexual human as well. Richard Ashton in the chat saying, "Okay, what have I missed? Loads. Where the hell have you been? Where have you been?" You have to go back and watch it again. Richard will be joining us live here on Who's Views on Monday night from 8 o'clock for resuming our Blake 7 reviews. So come and join us. Richard, just to point out as well and embarrass him, is a fabulous model maker who's actually working on the Blake 7 Blu-rays. So we're delighted to have him as part of our reviews. But that's for you on Monday. I mean, that for those of you who didn't know, that was Whoopi Goldberg with RTD, because RTD is apparently in New York now with the boyfriend. So apparently,
it's not professional business he's on then. No.
It doesn't seem to be. So he's obviously run into Whoopi at some point. And with him being an alleged fan of Star Trek, i.e. more of the woke version, I would imagine, than the original version, he couldn't help himself, would he? I mean, I'm with you, Paul. I don't understand where this has come from. Back in the day, we never, ever assumed that Star Trek and Doctor Who would cross over. And again, no offense to you over there in the States, but I think this has come from the bloody American fans again, that minority of American fan base that is just insane. Oh, we want a Doctor Who and a Star Trek crossover. It should never happen because they're so obviously two different things in two different worlds.
It's embarrassing, isn't it? I mean, again, you say RTD's a Star Trek fan, which allegedly he is, but he said, and Starfleet's about protecting the human race. No, it's the United Federation of Planets. It was way more than just the human race. And you'd think any fan of Star Trek would know that. I mean, I'm a passing viewer. I did enjoy Next Generation and a certain amount of Deep Space Nine, but I'd leave it there, really. Although I did like Enterprise with Scott Bakula. I thought that was good. But I'm not into Star Trek lore like I am with classic Doctor Who. But even I know that it's not about the human race at all. Absolutely not. But RTD doesn't get that. Do you think it might be his Christmas episode? His much fun, because he's wanted it before, hasn't he?
He's hinted at it a couple of years ago. Yeah.
On that panel.
Whoopi's actually, she not said she wants to be in an episode as well. There's a rumor that she wants to be the Doctor, but there was
She
chat.
wants to be the Doctor in an American version. She put it out there years ago. Yeah.
And there was chat about recently being a shooty episode, which came to nothing, fortunately. I thought she was going to be in Joy to the World. That it was so
I
much
think that was
better
more
if
of
she
a
was.
rumor. I think that was another one of these fan things that we're dealing with now, you know. I just don't get it. I know in a recent one, was it Strange New Worlds? They had a police box flying small around the Enterprise or something like. Why? I think that was just a nod after that thing we were talking about at Comic-Con where Kurtzman had met RTD and they'd shared a panel together. The rights issues would be incredible for one thing, because you've got whoever owns Star Trek these days, and then the BBC. Now, they're never going to be able to come to terms about how to do a crossover, because on the back of that comes money. Who's investing money? Who gets the money from any marketing? What merchandise will we actually do? Who gets the repeat rights? It's a nightmare to look at. But I think this sort of thing where he's obviously met Whoopsie and they've done this thing, it's obviously not scripted. They can't talk without a script, the two of them either. It's bloody awful.
No.
Do they realize that that's going to set certain minorities up there going, oh my God, it's actually happening?
I could see her being the Whoopsie in a crossover with Some Mothers Do Have 'Em, because there was reference to her. But I mean, with the BBC, with Red Dwarf, it was only in kind of like a few fleeting frames. But when they had Red Dwarf and the Starbug coming out, as it came out of its launch bay, there was a little police box in the corner that was quite shared around. There's photos of that. But, you know, it's a blink and you miss it thing. But with, I think I said to, published it on our little chat, I was watching the last 2 episodes of Series 3 of Strange New Worlds. And I think the penultimate episode, they've got this character, a female character, who's apparently lived for several hundred years. And in it, she said, I spent some time with a time-traveling doctor. And just left it hanging there because there was a bit of a moment's silence. They were like looking at each other. And then later in that episode, there was a woman standing there and she'd been, you know, taken over by something. And she had this green glow coming out the end of her arms, you know, and everything. It was like, oh, dear God, what's she going to do? Turn into Billy Bloody Piper? You don't know, do you? But, they keep making hints, definitely.
I can't stand it. And I don't understand why it suddenly needs to happen. And again, it's playing and whipping up their minority audience. You know, I certainly don't want to see a crossover. Can you imagine Tom Baker with Jean-Luc Picard or Captain Kirk? Can you imagine how that would have? I mean, it wouldn't have worked, would it? I mean, the Doctor wouldn't necessarily tolerate the crew of the Enterprise.
Yeah. No. If going by New Who standards, the way he doesn't like the army and unit and stuff like that, he'd be like that, wouldn't he? Because they're very sort of military. Although original Star Trek's very kind of shoot to kill kind of thing, aren't they? Really generally, and then become a bit more progressive later on. So he'd be very anti that, wouldn't he? Anti guns and weapons and war and all that kind of stuff.
And yet we've had it in Reboot Who as well, haven't we? We've had hints. The empty child one. Give me more Spock. We've had, which shows that it's fiction. And then in Space Babies, was it Space Babies? The alleged Doctor says to his alleged companion, oh, I'll have to take you there one day, or something. It's just fan wank. I'm going to be honest. That's all it is. And RTD is the biggest one of all, isn't he, Who viewers?
Well, talking of TV crossovers, what got me the other week there, I only just noticed it, they've done Corriedale, which is Cornish Street Emmerdale crossed together. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That is desperate. It really is.
Yes. Well, a friend of mine watches all these things. I'll have to ask him what Corriedale was actually like. But can you imagine?
Friend of mine worked on it. Back scenes, works at ITV. Yeah. I'll ask her. I'll get some.
It's a desperate idea for a crossover in order to keep viewing figures going, isn't it? Really.
Can you actually imagine, Who viewers, Star Who Come on, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look in the chat. Cara is saying to us, oh God, this piece of crap. Whoopsie, I mean, when she sat in that panel and said the Holocaust had nothing to do with race. I mean, she is one of the biggest, wokest, ridiculous people on the television. Hasn't her? She's got that version of Loose Women called The View, hasn't she?
The View, yeah.
Has that not been cancelled? I thought it was
I
cancelled.
thought it had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, just like ours has, because they've gone too far over with their far left opinions, you know. But I've got no time for Whoopi Goldberg these days. I liked her in Jumping Jack Flash all those years ago, and she was brilliant in The Colour Purple.
That's her favourite film, and my wife's Jumping Jack Flash. She loves that. And Sister
I
Act
love
and stuff
it.
like that.
Yeah, it's very 80s.
Yeah.
But I quite liked her in that. I liked her in The Colour Purple. There was something else I liked her in, but I've forgotten what it was. Oh, Ghost. She was quite good in Ghost.
Yeah.
But that whole thing
And
where
she wasn't bad in Star Trek as well, was she? She's quite good in that.
Guinan was a great character.
Guinan was all right. Yeah.
Did it well. Yeah, you're right. In Next Gen. But she's been playing on all these things, and she thinks she's more popular than I think she possibly is in America, because I don't think everybody's going to be agreeing with her very, very woke opinions. You know, Steve Braddock's saying to us, I don't know, but I can see him actually doing it. It's Star Trek's 60th anniversary this year, and RTD would love to be part of that. That's the only thing. Yes, he would, because he messed up Doctor Who's. So let's crash in on Star Trek's. You know, leave them alone. They're messing it up, from what I hear today, with Starfleet Academy already. So they
don't need any help.
No, they don't. Just to let you know as well, in case you don't know, yes, we're going to be celebrating Star Trek's 60th anniversary here on Who's Views. We couldn't let that one go. In a couple of weeks, the end of the month, January, we're going to be reviewing the motion picture. We're going to be doing one Star Trek movie a month throughout this year. And then hopefully in the summer, we're also going to be looking at certain episodes of The Next Gen, DS9 and Voyager. So come and join us as we celebrate 60 years of Star Trek. And hurrah for William Shatner, quite frankly. I love him to bits. How fabulous is he? Every time somebody says Star Trek, he's who I think of to this very day. He is Star Trek for me. And they treat him like crap, in my opinion. Funky1463, Funky's saying to us, Rich Blake, 7 episodes on Monday. Series 1, Project Avalon and Breakdown. We're doing 2 now to get us back on track. So Project Avalon and Breakdown. You've got all day tomorrow to go and watch them.
Going back to William Shatner, have you seen that wonderful roasting of George Lucas he does?
Yes.
That is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful stuff. Yeah.
He's brilliant, isn't he, dude? I love that rivalry he's got.
Yeah.
And I sometimes don't know if it's real or not towards Star Wars, because
he's wonderfully deadpan. That's the thing.
I sometimes think, are you just taking the pee, or do you really hate that franchise? He's genius. Absolutely genius. John Steed, what are you saying to us here? You are saying to us, haven't the 2 longest sci-fi series had enough damage without a joint episode? I think it could possibly turn out to be The Kiss of Death, because it could be an absolutely ridiculous script, because you've got so many players. How many do you have in a starship? You have about 7 leads, plus 2 or 3 from Doctor Who, plus baddies.
And I bet you have 10 or David Tennant's in it. Yeah.
Who's want to watch him now? Robert Payne is saying to us, Whoopsie has made some anti-Semitic ignorant statements over the past few years. She's made loads of stupid statements over the last few years as well. Bill Lowry is saying that Whoopsie Goldberg should have married Peter Cushing, and we all know why.
Available in all good joke shops, that one, yeah. So
yeah, that's great. Cara got it, and so did Moriarty. Well done. What else there? Robert was saying that RTD was out there with Jane Tranter and visited the View studio recording.
Of course they did.
Yeah, of course they did, because it's on their wavelength, isn't it? So that, I suppose Julie was with them as well, Julie Gardner, because she's based out in the States, isn't she, now with Bad Wolf?
Yeah, apparently,
she does all the work over there for keeping in with the Hollywood LA set. Yeah. Lots of comments about Whoopsie. You've got no time for in the chat. I don't either. Domgo, hello Domgo, how are you? Doctor Who needs to worry about carrying on, never mind crossing over. Yes, true. And Funky's also given us a little super chat here. Thank you, Funky, for that. Really appreciate it. RTD really needs to concentrate on this new Christmas special. It's all in his head, though, isn't it? Funky knows what he's doing. It's all in his head. Yeah. Terrified Monk saying that Whoopsie will be in the Christmas special. I've heard, though, Terrified Monk, that she's not well enough to actually fly anymore that far. And she's getting on.
Oh no, she'll be another infinity timeless doctor person. I'll be like William Hartnell on a screen like that.
Yeah.
She'll be stuck
If you
in a
push her out
time
the
machine.
aeroplane, she'll fly for a bit, won't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was also that thing that, again, she's raised that horrible thing that we had in the Wilderness series of there must be an American version of Doctor Who. And the BBC always said to that, not a chance. There's going to be one show and we own it. I still stick with the BBC on that one. No, why would there be two corresponding different versions of the show? It's not as if we in Britain would say we have to have our own version of Star Trek.
Well, the bizarre thing, haven't they? BBC sold many programs, many sitcoms like Porridge and Steptoe and stuff like that to America, Ad Fab and things like that. You know, The Office. They've done all those kind of things, haven't they? That kind of swap over cast, but it doesn't really work, does it? To be honest,
doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Derek Hart is saying to us here, hate to mention, but that Doctor Who and Star Trek have already met with Matt Smith's Doctor, with Picard and Bref, with Tom Baker and Kirk in comic form a few years ago and was a huge success. It was #1. Yeah, it doesn't count. It's comics, doesn't count. No, for me, anything that's my canon is anything that goes between 1963 and at a push, the end of Capaldi. That's it. But make of it what you want. But I don't count the comics because I haven't seen them. The only comics I do count, though, Derek, with any quality at all, is the Doctor Who weekly and monthly comic strip up to, I would say, the quality dropped off for me during the Smith years. That's when I started to get a bit bored with the comic strip. I don't know.
But there were some classics, weren't there? There were some absolute classics with certainly Tom Baker, Peter Davison, and Colin Baker's and Sylvester. To be fair, especially when they tied it in with some of the novels at the time as well. In those Wilderness years, it was just stunning stuff. Yeah.
Oh, let's have a look at this. Thank you so much. Robert Payne saying to us that Super Ted made an appearance in The Curse of Fenric, I think you mean there, not The Curse of Fenric. The Curse of Fenric. He did, wasn't he? And at the time, that made a bit of a fuss in fandom because we're all going, no, that bear wouldn't have been around at that particular point in time. That's anachronistic. Shut up. Shut up. What's this from Stephen O'Neill? Paramount owns Star Trek and are rumoured to want to be the next streamers of Doctor Who. So that would sort out the rights issue for a crossover, which I'm against.
Yeah.
Paramount. Yeah. Why would they want Doctor Who?
Don't know.
What's in it for them?
Why did Disney want it? That's the thing. To be fair.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to say it. BBC Studios, shut up. Get on with it yourself. You have this thing called the iPlayer. Turn it into a streaming service. Do it yourselves, you lazy cretins. Hire me. I will come and sort you out. But I'd sack half of you. Oh, no damage there. What else have we got? Kirsty's in the chat to remind us, of course, to please hit the like button and subscribe. Yes, please. John Mason saying, remember the Pertwee Shatner interview where Shatner clearly had no idea who Pertwee was? You can actually still see that today, can't you?
That was this morning or something, wasn't it? I think they did that. Was it? Yeah. But
it's actually on the Tube of Who, I think. I think that's where I've seen it recently. Yeah. Remember, it's on there, isn't it? Somewhere.
Yeah.
Mark McIntosh is with us saying William Shatner is Star Trek. He is to me. He is to me. Yeah. Hello to Digital for Rome as well, who's joined us in the chat. Good to see you. It's been great tonight. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. You've absolutely been fantastic as ever in the chat. Lots and lots of you having a lovely time in there. Yeah, absolutely. Mark Jones saying to us, Disney wanted Bluey and Doctor Who was part of the deal. No Doctor Who, no Bluey. I wonder what's happening with Bluey now.
There might be a Doctor Who cartoon and Bluey crossover because it's aimed at the same age bracket, isn't it?
And I don't know if you saw it tonight, but they've announced as part of Star Trek's 60th anniversary plans this year that, like Doctor Who, there's going to be a preschool Star Trek animation.
Why?
I don't know. No idea. No idea at all. As if the kids are going to grow up into the shows. They might not even be on air the way they're going right now.
The bizarre thing about it is like they're missing the point entirely. When we were kids, when we watched it, it was aimed as a family audience. So kids could watch it, your parents could watch it, your grandparents could watch it. Watch as a family, that's fine. And then you get into it and grow up with it. That's the whole point. You don't have to be... it can be any age to watch it, really. That's the thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. And they've missed that point. You're right, Paul. The whole thing about the whole thing about Doctor Who was it was open to everybody back in the day, wasn't it? It was open to anybody, no matter what age, no matter where in the country you lived. You could sit down and you could just all watch it. And they've absolutely forgotten that now and tailored it to a niche minority audience, of which will not. They're not hanging around.
No.
They're really not. Oh, goodness me. Well, listen, that's been great. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Thank you for listening to us and being part of our chat, being part of Who's Views in general. We really appreciate it. We are going to be back tomorrow, Sunday, the 11th of January, live at 8, because we've got a lot more to talk about, believe it or not. Oh, yes, we do. So join us tomorrow live in the chat again. Third Doctor Ian, Paul, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited, everybody. Hopefully you will all be with us here tomorrow as well. The show's up for you to make that little reminder. Don't forget to ring the bell. We'll be going live at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe. If you've already subscribed, make sure that you are still subscribed. Give the show a thumbs up and get it out there. Share it. Yes, do all the things you know you should. And why don't you recommend us to one of your friends? That would be lovely. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Live at 8 for Headlines Part 2. Ta-ra, everyone.
Okay, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.